Next theorem, let Sn be a sequence that converges. Let Sn be a sequence that converges. In that first one, if Sn is greater than or equal to A for all but finitely many n, then limit Sn is greater than or equal to A. Proof. Given that the sequence Sn is converges, so let us, given that the sequence Sn be a sequence that converges, then if we are saying the sequence is convergent, then its limit exists. Then limit of Sn exists. Let us say that limit value is yes. Say. Now, given that if Sn is greater than or equal to A for all but finitely many n, given that Sn is greater than or equal to A for all but finitely many n. Clearly, this means that Sn is greater than or equal to A for all n except finite number of n's. There are infinite number of natural numbers. Out of those, that is S1, S2, S3, so on, S100, so on. For all n, this one is greater than or equal to A except for finite number of numbers. Like I can say S1, for example, S1, S2, S3 and S4 are 4 numbers which are not less than or equal to A. After that, all the elements infinitely for all the elements are greater than or equal to A. Means for finitely many n, this is not satisfying. After finite number of elements, all the elements are satisfying this one. So this one I can say that then there exists n naught in set of all natural numbers. Means I am going to get a stage. After that, if I take any natural number, that term is greater than or equal to, such that Sn is greater than or equal to A for all those small n which are greater than n naught. Again repeating the statement, Sn is greater than or equal to A for all except finitely many n. I don't know what is that finitely many, maybe 100. After 100, all the elements are greater than or equal to A, maybe 1000, so on, whatever it may be. Except for finite number of elements, all the elements are greater than or equal to A. Since here saying it is a only finite number of elements, it is not satisfying. Means there exists a natural number, let us take n naught, such that after that if I take any small n, Sn is greater than or equal to A. Sn is greater than or equal to A. Now we have to prove that limit of Sn is greater than or equal to A. Now we have to prove that limit of Sn is greater than or equal to A. That is, what is the limit of Sn from here? S is greater than or equal to A. S is greater than or equal to A. Now this one I am going to prove by using contradiction. If possible, assume that S is less than A. I have to prove S is greater than or equal to A. I am assuming that S is less than A. If it is true, we won't get any contradiction. If it is false, definitely we have to get a contradiction. If we are going to get a contradiction, our assumption is not valid, I can say. Now let epsilon is equal to a minus s. Epsilon is equal to a minus s. Now here I can say that since as our assumption s is less than a, this implies 0 is less than a minus s. That is nothing but epsilon. So here I can say that epsilon is greater than 0. This one is greater than 0 because of our assumption. And let us take any capital N which is greater than or equal to n naught. Now consider modulus of Sn minus s is less than epsilon for n greater than capital N. How I am saying this one? By equation number 1. Why? Since the limit of the sequence exists from the definition, for each epsilon there exists a capital N such that modulus of Sn minus s is less than epsilon for n greater than capital N. I wrote by the definition of a limit of a sequence. Here I am going to remove the modulus symbol. If I remove the modulus symbol, what you will get? Minus epsilon less than Sn minus s less than epsilon for n greater than capital N. Now adding s, we will get s minus epsilon less than Sn less than s plus epsilon for n greater than capital N. N greater than capital N. Now here from this step, what it here? This implies s minus epsilon is less than Sn. Sn is less than. From this one, what I am going to get here? Epsilon is equal to a minus s. Then s plus epsilon is equal to a. So here I am writing a for all those n greater than capital N. So now here what I am taking right inequality means if I take any small n which is greater than capital N, Sn is less than a. Therefore, this implies Sn is less than a for n greater than capital N, and I took n is greater than or equal to capital N naught, which is a contradiction. How I am saying this is a contradiction? In the clearly given in the statement, here clearly given in the statement that Sn is greater than or equal to a, means there exists a natural number. After that, if I take any small n, all the Sn's are greater than or equal to a. Here you can take equation number 2. If I take any n greater than capital N naught, its element, that is Sn is greater than or equal to a. Here if I take any small n greater than n naught, I am going to get Sn is less than a. But according to a statement, Sn must be greater than or equal to a, which is a contradiction to equation number 2, which is a contradiction to equation number 2. Therefore, our assumption S is less than A is wrong. Then what is the correct? Then S must be greater than or equal to A. But what is S? That is limit of Sn is greater than or equal to A. This one only we have to prove. So this statement says that if infinitely many elements of a sequence are greater than or equal to A and the sequence converges, then its limit is also greater than or equal to A. If infinitely many terms are greater than or equal to A, and A whatever it may be, any real number, if infinitely many terms are greater than or equal to A, then its limit is also greater than or equal to A. Greater than or equal to A. Now second one. Now second one, B. if Sn is less than or equal to b for all but finitely many n, then limit of Sn is less than or equal to b. Proof. So here let limit of Sn is equal to say equation number 1. Given that Sn is less than or equal to b for all but finitely many n, that is, then this implies that all the elements are less than or equal to b except for finitely many n, means except for finite number of elements, all the elements are less than or equal to b. How many elements I don't know, but I know that only finite number of elements. So there exists a number n naught in set of all natural number such that Sn is less than or equal to b for all those n's which are greater than n naught. Let us take equation number 2. Now we have to prove that limit of Sn is less than or equal to b. That is, we have took s is less than or equal to b. You can say here we have to prove limit of Sn is less than or equal to b. That is, limit of Sn we have considered as s is less than or equal to b. Again I am going to prove by contradiction. If possible, assume that s is greater than b. S is greater than b. Let epsilon is equal to s minus b. Is it greater than 0? I am writing here in a rough part. Since as our assumption s is greater than b, now s minus b is greater than 0. That is, s minus b is epsilon is greater than 0. So I can say here epsilon is greater than 0 and capital N is greater than or equal to capital N naught. The same proof I am doing here, just I did in the above. Now so here since limit of Sn is equal to s, I can use the definition, that is, for each epsilon greater than 0 there exists a capital N such that small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus s is less than epsilon. I wrote the same thing here in the above part. Since the limit of, by equation number 1, that is, since the limit of Sn is equal to s, for each epsilon there exists capital N, for small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus s is less than epsilon. Now here I am going to remove the modulus symbol. So what you will get, minus epsilon is less than Sn minus s is less than epsilon. Adding s minus epsilon is less than Sn is less than s plus epsilon. Now what we have considered here, now from this part, since epsilon is equal to s minus b, then b is equal to epsilon, s minus epsilon. So this implies s minus epsilon I can write as b less than Sn less than S plus epsilon for all those small n which are greater than capital N, which are greater than capital N. This implies, therefore, what we got, b is less than Sn for all those small n which are, I am taking this one, this part, left inequality, greater than n naught, and n naught is greater than or equal to n naught from here, which is a contradiction, which is a contradiction to the, which is a contradiction to the equation number 2. Why? Equation number 2 says after capital N, if I take any small n, that small n, that Sn term is less than or equal to b. After capital N naught, if I take any natural number, its term of a sequence, that is Sn, is less than or equal to b. But here it says that if I take n greater than n naught, its term is greater than b, but here you have to get less than or equal to b, which is a contradiction to equation number 2. Therefore, our assumption that S is greater than b is wrong. S is greater than b is wrong. Then what is correct? S is less than or equal to b. Therefore, limit of Sn is less than or equal to b. Less than or equal to b. So, this statement says that if infinitely many terms of a sequence are less than or equal to b, then its limit is also less than or equal to b. The first statement says that if infinitely many terms are greater than or equal to a, then its limit is also greater than or equal to a. If infinitely many terms are less than or equal to b, then its limit is also less than or equal to b. Now third one, C. If all but finitely many Sn belong to close interval a comma b, then limit Sn belongs to close interval a comma b. Close interval a comma b. Proof. Let limit of Sn is equal to S. Say equation number 1. Given that all but finitely many Sn belong to close interval a comma b. What it means? All the elements belongs to close interval a comma b except for finite number of elements. Except for finite number of elements, all the elements belongs to close interval a comma b. So I can say that then there exists n naught in set of all natural numbers such that a is less than or equal to Sn is less than or equal to b for all n greater than n naught. Equation number 2. After n naught, if I take any natural number, the term, all those terms lies in the close interval a comma b. Close interval a comma b can also be written as like this. Now we know that if a is less than or equal to Sn, first part I am taking this one. If a is less than or equal to Sn for all but finitely many n, just now we have proved this one, many n, then limit of Sn is also greater than or equal to a. that is a is also less than or equal to limit of Sn. Equation number 3. This one I wrote, this statement I wrote by the first part. Just now we have proved. Similarly, now I am going to use the second one. If Sn is less than or equal to b for all but finitely many n, then limit of Sn is also less than or equal to b. Equation number 4. This one I wrote by the second part. Just now we have proved. Therefore, from 2, 3 and 4, we get A is less than or equal to Sn is less than or equal to b for all but finitely many n. Then if infinitely many n are greater than or equal to a, then its limit is also greater than or equal to a. If infinitely many terms are less than or equal to b, then its limit is also less than or equal to b. This one I wrote here from equation number 2. From 3 and 4 I am writing this one. Then a is less than or equal to limit of Sn, and limit of Sn is less than or equal to b. That is limit of Sn belongs to close interval a comma b. This statement says that if infinitely many elements are in close interval a comma b, then its limit is also in this close interval a comma b. Then the limit of the sequence is also in close interval a comma b. Now next problem you can say, or you can say theorem. Let the sequence Sn be a sequence of non-negative real numbers and suppose S is equal to limit of Sn and S is greater than or equal to 0, then limit of under root Sn is also under root S. Let Sn be a sequence of non-negative real numbers, means the terms of a sequence are non-negative. No term is negative, either 0 or greater than 0, and all are real numbers. And given that limit of this sequence is S, and this S is also non-negative, it is greater than or equal to 0, then limit of under root Sn is equal to under root S. I have to prove. Why it is given non-negative? If I take any negative, under root of negative, it becomes again a complex number. So, but here we are dealing with the sequence of real numbers. So, first of all, we will discuss how to prove this one. Then we are going to prove in a formal proof. So, first one, discussion. First, for each epsilon greater than 0, we need to determine how large small n has to be, imply that we have to get modulus of under root Sn minus under root S is less than epsilon. That is the definition of a limit of a sequence. For each epsilon, we have to get a capital N such that after capital N, if I take any small n, it should satisfy that modulus of this one minus this one should be less than epsilon. So I have to find that capital N first. Now we need to determine how large small n has to be applied such that modulus of under root Sn minus under root S is less than epsilon. Now for this we will consider under root Sn minus under root S and irrationalize the denominator. That is under root of Sn minus under root S. I have considered this one. Now I am going to rationalize this one. So what you will get, under root Sn minus under root S into under root Sn plus under root S by under root Sn plus under root S. Rationalizing the numerator, you can say rationalize the numerator, or you can say irrationalize the denominator. Now it is in the form of a plus b into a minus b. We will get a square minus b square, that is Sn minus S by under root of Sn plus under root of S. Let us take this one as equation number 1. So this one I can write like this. In this bracket I can write this one. Now in the statement clearly given that since limit of Sn is equal to S, this implies Sn tends to S as n tends to infinity. This is also a notation of this one, already I have said. Means as I am taking n a larger number, Sn is going very near to S. Means the difference between if Sn goes very near to S, the distance decreases. As n tends to infinity, Sn goes to S. This implies if Sn goes very near to S, the distance between Sn and S will decreases. Means the numerator, that is the difference Sn minus S, goes to 0. This implies that the numerator of equation number 1, that is this one, this is the numerator of equation number 1, becomes small for large n. If I take n as very larger number, this one goes very near to S. If this one goes very near to S, the difference becomes very small. So this implies that the numerator of equation number 1 becomes very small for large values of n. Now, but if here in the statement I did not, here S has two options. S can become 0, S can become greater than 0. If S is equal to 0, then the denominator of equation number 1 becomes small. How I can say this one? S equal to 0, this one is equal to 0. Therefore we will get Sn by under root Sn. When I compare a and under root a, either this will be equal if a is equal to 1 or a is greater than under root a. This will be equal only if a is equal to 1. A is equal to 1. In all the other cases, a will be always greater than under root a. Means I can say that under root of Sn, that is the denominator, is small compared to the numerator, so we consider two cases. First one, if S is greater than 0, and the second one, if S is equal to 0. If S is equal to 0, the denominator becomes very small. So that's the reason I am going to divide the proof into two cases, if S is greater than 0 and if S is equal to 0. So first one, if S is greater than 0, then under root of Sn minus under root of S, this one I can write as Sn minus S by under root of Sn plus under root S. Just now here I got in equation number 1, you can say by equation number 1. Now I am writing in a rough part. I am taking the denominator under root of Sn plus under root of S. In the statement clearly given that all the terms of a sequence, are non-negative, means either equal to 0 or greater than 0. Then I can say that this is greater than or equal to 0 plus under root S. If it is equal to 0, we will get both the terms are equal. If it is strictly greater than 0, then also strictly greater than 0. So I can say here strictly greater than 0. Now by the hypothesis. Now this implies under root of Sn plus under root of S is greater than or equal to under root S. Now cross multiply. 1 by under root S is greater than or equal to 1 by under root Sn plus under root S. So this one I can write as first Sn minus S as it is. 1 by under root Sn plus S is less than or equal to under root S. I can write here in the denominator only if S is greater than 0. If S is equal to 0, this one becomes a large infinite, undefined. So now I am taking modulus on both sides. Then modulus of under root Sn minus under root S, that is modulus of Sn minus S by modulus of under root Sn plus modulus of S. This one I can write by less than or equal to modulus of Sn minus S by under root S. Since S is positive, its under root is also positive. Equation number, let us take 2. Since in the statement clearly given that limit of Sn is equal to S. So by the definition, that is for each epsilon, so I can take under root S into epsilon. This is also greater than 0. Epsilon is greater than 0. S is greater than 0. Its under root S is also greater than 0. For this one also, we will get a capital N such that small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus S is less than under root S into epsilon. By the definition I wrote, since limit of Sn is equal to S, for each epsilon means I can take this one also because this one is greater than 0. I can take this one because S is greater than 0 case I am dealing with. This one is positive, this one is positive, their product is also positive. Therefore, for this one also there exists a capital N such that if I take any small n greater than capital N, modulus of this one minus this one is less than this one. Now consider equation number 2. Then equation number 2 can be written as can be written as, that is modulus of under root Sn minus S. Under root S is less than or equal to modulus of Sn minus S by under root S. This one I got strictly less than modulus of Sn minus S is under root S into epsilon by under root S. This one get cancelled. We will get epsilon. Therefore, modulus of under root Sn minus under root S is less than epsilon. Is strictly less than epsilon. So what I did here, if S is greater than 0, I consider limit of under root S minus S, under root S. I rationalize the numerator, I got this one. Since under root Sn plus under root S is greater than or equal to under root S, cross multiply, this one is less than or equal to this one. Now I took model on both sides. Now I have to show in the statement that limit of this one is equal to this one, means I have to show that modulus of this one minus this one is less than epsilon. In the starting of the proof I have written here how large small n has to be implied that this one should be less than epsilon. So if I dealing with S greater than 0, since in the statement clearly given that limit of Sn is S, therefore for this one under root S into epsilon greater than 0, there exists a capital N such that small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus S is less than this one. So equation number 2 can be written as this one. Therefore I got this step. Now I am going to deal with next case. If S is equal to 0, then in the statement clearly given that limit of Sn is equal to S, which is nothing but limit of Sn is equal to 0. So from the definition I can write that then there exists a capital N such that small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus 0 is less than epsilon. I can write epsilon square also because it satisfies for each epsilon. If I take epsilon, epsilon square, but epsilon square should be greater than 0. Epsilon is greater than 0, then its square is also greater than 0. So here what I got now, this implies modulus of Sn is less than epsilon square. I am going to remove the modulus. The reason I am writing here, since Sn is greater than or equal to 0 for all n, in the statement clearly given that all the terms of a sequence are greater than or equal to 0, then modulus of Sn is also is equal to Sn because no term is negative. So here directly I can write Sn is less than epsilon square. Now taking under root on both sides, we will get under root of Sn is less than epsilon. Is less than epsilon. Now this one again, since Sn is greater than or equal to 0, then its under root Sn is also greater than or equal to 0. Then modulus of under root Sn is equal to under root Sn. So under root Sn I can write as modulus of under root Sn is less than epsilon. Therefore this implies what I will get, modulus of under root Sn minus under root 0 is less than epsilon. What is this 0? This 0 is nothing but S. This case we are dealing right now. This case, that is S is equal to 0. This one. Therefore, in both the cases, if S is greater than 0, I got this one. If S is equal to 0, I got this one. So this is the way we are going to prove. Now formal proof. Doing the formal proof is very easy. Case 1, that is if S is greater than 0, let epsilon is greater than 0. since limit of Sn is equal to S, clearly given in the statement. I already took here epsilon, so then there exists capital N, such that small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus S. I am going to write as this one is under root S into epsilon. Already we have discussed this one earlier here. In the discussion part I already discussed. So I am not going to discuss again. I am just copying from the discussion part in the formal proof. If limit Sn is equal to S, then there exists capital N such that small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus S is less than under root S into epsilon. Now, for small n greater than capital N implies modulus of under root Sn minus under root S. Already we have discussed in the discussion part. This one I can write as this one. How I wrote this one is equal to this one, I have discussed here. This one is equal to this one is equal to less than or equal to this one. So I can write this part there directly. So this one I can write as equal to modulus of Sn minus S by modulus of under root Sn plus under root S. I wrote from the discussion part. This one I can write as less than or equal to modulus of Sn minus S by under root S. Now this one I can write from this step. Modulus of Sn minus S is less than under root S into epsilon by under root S. This one and this one get cancelled, we will get epsilon. Therefore, what we got? Modulus of under root Sn minus under root S is less than epsilon. Therefore, limit of under root Sn is equal to under root S. In this case. Now we will do for case 2. If S is equal to 0, let epsilon greater than 0. Since limit of Sn is equal to S, which is equal to 0, then for already I took epsilon, according to this epsilon there exists capital N such that small n greater than capital N implies modulus of Sn minus 0 is less than, here I am going to take epsilon square. Already I have discussed here. Already I have discussed in the discussion part. Here I am going to take epsilon square. So that square and under root get cancelled. We will get in the last epsilon. Now, this one I can write as modulus of Sn is less than epsilon square. Since Sn is non-negative, modulus of Sn I can write, already I have discussed, modulus of Sn is Sn less than epsilon square. This implies under root Sn is less than epsilon square. This implies modulus of Sn under root Sn is less than epsilon. Therefore, modulus of under root Sn minus 0 is less than epsilon. Therefore, limit of under root Sn is equal to 0, which is equal to under root S in this case. Therefore, in both the cases, we get limit of under root Sn is equal to under root S. under root yes. If the sequence, the statement I am saying, if Sn is a sequence of non-negative real number and the sequence exists and the limit value is not negative, then limit of, if I take under root to each and every term of a sequence, then its limit is also under root yes, under root yes.